This is a very quick video trying to give a visual overview of how to use the AssetWorks mobile app on this Zebra reader. The reader looks like this, and the system itself looks a little bit more like this. You've got a dock that can charge and also connect for communication to Ethernet or to a PC via a USB cable. There's a power brick and some cables. Not terribly difficult. In the end, we're going to be using it to scan a barcode for a location, which will present us with a list of assets that the VA database says should be there. And then we're going to proceed within that room of using the RFID reader on this Zebra unit to scan these new RFID asset tags as a quicker means of collecting asset information for that room. And if there are changes that are required about missing items or moved items, we can make that change on the handheld and then sync it later on with a network connection to the AssetWorks web service and thereafter the AssetWorks database. Okay, so that's a quick overview. How do you turn it on? Well, there is a red button in the bottom corner of this unit. So if you look at the thing, it's here. If you hold that down, remember this is just largely a phone, so treat it like a phone. You're going to hold that down until you see the Zebra logo, and then it'll power up. You may need to swipe from the bottom up to see the home page, but that's how you power up. To power off, do the same thing. Hold it down until you see this menu, which will show you options for powering off or restarting or even taking a screen snapshot picture. Okay, so in the end, this is the home page. When it comes up, you'll see that we've simplified it to having just the AssetWorks program on the left. You have a settings shortcut here and a Chrome browser if you were to have a network connection. This unit can run off of Wi-Fi or Ethernet connections. If it's an Ethernet connection, it has to be in the dock. Okay. Now, we have preloaded this reader with not only the AssetWorks application, but also with a database that is relevant to the location where we're shipping these. So if we're shipping it to site 648, it'll have 648 data on it. If we're sending it to 668 as a station code, it'll have 668 data on it. And we have synced it with our own AssetWorks web service and database to pre-populate those assets on these terminals. When you get it, open up the asset or the AssetWorks mobile app. Make sure you're in the scan room and switch to barcode mode. When you go to barcode mode, you're now going to find the picture of the label, that is in the door jamb. It'll look something like this, right? It starts with SP and then the location code. So we're going to scan that by pulling the trigger, and I guess I'll use this room, right? And I've already done this. This will come up if you've done it more than once. You certainly can inventory it a second time, so just hit yes. And what happens then is that you'll see the latest set of data for this room. I've got 8 items, 6 of which apparently were already scanned as green, so they're already there. I wish I could have kept them all orange. Orange says this is what I should have. There's a listing here in this tutorial that'll come with it. Assets which should be in the room are in yellow or gold. When they turn green, that means that they've been confirmed as being in that room by the RFID reader. When they are blue, that says my RFID reader found something that probably shouldn't be here. It's currently logged to be in a different room. And then pink is, I don't know what this is. This isn't in our database. You can either add it if it makes sense, but in most cases, this is going to be a non-VA asset. It might be a FedEx package. It might be something like that. Okay, so let's come back to the screen. And I'm just going to now switch from barcode mode to RFID mode, so you can see what this looks like. I'm going to pull the trigger, and you'll see that I've got 12 scans that are in the proximity of my reader. And as I scroll down, you'll see I've got some pink things where it just doesn't know what that is, right? So I'll scroll up here. Pink things are going to be shown as I don't know what that is. The green things are things that should be here and are here, and then the orange things are things that I can't find. Now, if you truly can't find it, you can just simply click on it and then say, it's missing. Or I can look at this one and say, I found this one, but the tag is dead. So I'm going to mark it as inventoried. And now everything is green. Now let's say you did a scan. I'll do this again. I'll switch to a different room. I'll go back into barcode mode because we're going to scan the room tag for that room. So I have to remember, come back here, barcode mode, scan room. Same thing, I've been doing this before, so just hit yes. And now I'm going to include some RFID tags that are from a different room. So I'm going to go ahead and switch to RFID mode. I will pull the trigger. All right, got a bunch of things, 24 scanned. And as I scroll down through here, I'm going to see some items in blue. And remember, blue means what? Blue means these exist in the database, but they're supposed to be in a different room. Now, that could be that you're getting something through the wall. So what you want to be able to do is you want to check the room number. Is that next door or is it not? If it's not even close to the same neighborhood, then you probably want to move that. So you can just say, look, I'm going to click here. And I'm going to say move it from that location to this current location. There you go. Now notice you can also, as you're going through this, you can go through and see all of the other columns associated in the database with this, including serial number. And if you notice that the serial number is incorrect, or the description is incorrect, or the model number is incorrect, you can also make that change right here. You can say edit. And you can go in, change the serial number to adding something else to it, right? And when you're done, just remember to hit save. So in use, you can change the status on it, whatever it is that you want to do, okay? All right, so we will come back, hit scan room. That's largely it for this. You can, when you're done with this, you can go back all the way to the right. If you scroll here, you'll see a more, and there is a sync app. And if you are connected to the same network as a web server that feeds the AssetWorks database, this will sync the changes made on your local app up to the database, and vice versa. If there's been new assets that have been added to the database that have not been put on your local reader, then that'll happen as well. And these connections have already been made, but if you do need to change them for your own environment under software connectivity, you just put in the IP address of wherever the AssetWorks web service has been installed. Just put in that name server or that IP address. You are going to manually sync the database. That's my recommendation. And we're talking about batch mode. Batch mode is when we are locally installed AssetWorks onto that customer's server. Not the web services, not cloud services, but rather batch mode, okay? So these are the settings you need to adapt to your own networked environment. And again, when that's been done, you can sync your app to either pull down a new data set or to push up changes to that data set from the reader. And that's how this works. When you want to quit, you can either go back to the app button here and go up and click the X, or you can hit clear all, come back to the home screen. And to power off again, you hold the red button until you see this, and you can either say power off or restart.